A revised power unit configuration and new active aerodynamics are two of the many upgrades that are set to shake up Formula One in 2026. And don't think for a minute that this is just a simple upgrade with a few tweaks here and there. This is a complete transformation that has teams racing against time and innovation. The new rules have forced engineers and designers to chase a moving target as concepts evolve faster than ever. So, how are the teams, the drivers, and the sport as a whole preparing for this new era in racing? More importantly, will the impact of these new regulations be positive or negative? Let's dive into the video and find out all the answers. First up, we have the new turbo hybrid engines. These cutting-edge engines will rely on a 50-50 energy split between the traditional engine and a powerful battery. This change is part of F1 and the FIA's ambitious mission to achieve net zero carbon by 2030. Here, you have to note that while the current power units are already the most efficient in the world, this next step marks a bold and exciting move toward a cleaner, greener future for motorsport. One of the most jaw-dropping upgrades is the 300% increase in electrical power coming directly from the battery. This dramatic boost is coupled with simplified power units, as the complex MGU-H system has been removed. Even better, the cars will run entirely on 100% sustainable fuels. Other thrilling changes include doubling the amount of energy recuperated during braking to 8.5 megajoules per lap. This means drivers will have even more power to tap into when they need it most. On top of that, a brand new manual override mode will be introduced, giving drivers an added tool to maximize overtaking and keep battles on the track closer and more exciting than ever. Because of the new hybrid balance and technological advancements in the cars, Formula One is entering what many are calling the driver adaptation era. This era puts a spotlight on how drivers must adapt to a completely new style of racing to maximize performance. With all the new changes, the race is no longer just about raw speed. Drivers will now have to manage the energy recovery system more closely than ever before, as it plays a critical role in their performance on the track. The increased capacity to recuperate energy during braking, up to 8.5 megajoules per lap, means that drivers must carefully balance when and how to use their regenerative braking systems. Overusing battery power too early in a race could leave them vulnerable towards the end, while underusing it might cost them vital overtaking opportunities during critical moments. This adds a new layer of strategy to driving, as decisions must be made in real time at lightning speed. Additionally, the introduction of the manual override mode brings an entirely new dimension to overtaking and close battles on the track. Drivers who can master this feature and integrate it into their performance in crucial moments will have a significant advantage. However, it won't be easy. The manual override will require lightning-fast decision-making and mental acuity under pressure, while also demanding precise timing to avoid losing efficiency. This new level of complexity is set to challenge even the most experienced drivers. Veterans who have grown accustomed to the older systems may initially struggle to adjust to the intricate balance of these hybrid cars. Managing the braking systems, energy deployment, and overall race strategy will require not only skill, but also the ability to unlearn old habits and adopt new methods quickly. The spotlight may shift to younger drivers like Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, and Oscar Piastri, who are seen as the rising stars of Formula One. These young talents have already demonstrated an ability to adapt quickly and show a deep understanding of modern racing technologies. Besides drivers, the changes on the engine side of the rules have drawn the attention of several big manufacturers. Long-time competitors like Mercedes and Ferrari are staying in the sport, continuing their legacy. Meanwhile, Red Bull is building their own power units for the first time, working alongside Ford in this new venture. Renault, competing under their Alpine brand, will no longer develop their own engines and instead switch to being a Mercedes customer. Aston Martin, powered by Honda engines, marks Honda's return to the grid. In 2026, you'll get to see 2 new teams join the Formula One grid, making the competition even more exciting. One of these teams is Cadillac, which is supported by General Motors. For their first season, Cadillac will use Ferrari power units to power their cars. They've already made a strong start by signing well-known drivers Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas, who bring experience and skill to the team. The other new team is Audi, which will enter Formula One as a full factory team. Audi will take over the Sauber team, and the team will be rebranded as the Audi F1 team. This expansion will bring the total number of teams on the grid to 11, promising fans even more thrilling racing action each weekend. Andrew Shovlin, Mercedes trackside engineering director, explained that figuring out the secrets to performance won't be easy. With a new ECU, fresh power unit designs, completely revised chassis rules, and brand new tyres to master, the team has a mountain of work ahead. Additionally, new fuels and an energy challenge add even more complexity. Shovlin emphasised that every area of the car is advancing, but predicting the future is tough. The engineers are using simulators to create a virtual version of the car, but even that relies on closely guessing how downforce and performance levels will evolve over the coming months. It's a race against time to ensure every bit of testing is relevant and leads to success when the car finally hits the track. Now let's talk about the car design and aerodynamics. On June 6, 2024, the 2026 car concept was revealed, and it truly pushes boundaries. One of the most exciting features is the introduction of new active aerodynamics on the front and rear wings. These make the car more adaptable and efficient on the track. But the most important thing is the return of active aerodynamics to Formula One, and it's absolutely thrilling for the fans. This new system is set to replace the DRS, bringing an entirely fresh way to enhance wheel-to-wheel racing. This means drivers will now have the ability to adjust their car's front and rear wings mid-race, with X mode enabling maximum speed on the straights and Z mode providing better performance in the corners. Races are going to become even more intense. The car itself is getting smaller and lighter. The wheelbase will be reduced from 360 cm to 340 cm, and its width will shrink from 200 cm to 190 cm. This makes it more agile and easier to handle. Plus, the weight is dropping by 30 kilograms, which means it'll be faster and nimbler. Even the tyres are becoming slightly narrower, with the front pair reduced by 2.5 centimeters and the rear pair by 3.0 centimeters. These tweaks are all about improving performance. The floor of the car will also be redesigned to reduce ground effects, helping to solve the porpoising issues that have bothered teams in recent years. By October 2024, the FIA announced adjustments to the downforce reduction plans. Instead of the huge reductions initially proposed, the 2026 cars will only have around 15% less downforce compared to their predecessors. This change will make them just 2 seconds slower per lap than the 2022 to 2025 cars, instead of the previously expected 4 seconds. Another thing that might change the future of Formula One is the introduction of mandatory cooling vests for drivers. This decision comes after the extreme heat challenges faced during the 2023 Qatar Grand Prix, where drivers endured dangerously high temperatures. The conditions were so severe that Esteban Ocon reportedly vomited in his cockpit, and Lance Stroll admitted to coming close to losing consciousness. At the Singapore Grand Prix, the FIA addressed this issue by declaring a heat hazard and mandating that teams equip their cars with specialized systems to run cooling vests. These vests feature a remarkable design, incorporating up to 50 meters of tubing that pumps water around the driver's body to help regulate temperature. This innovative technology aims to reduce the physical strain on drivers and ensure their safety during races in extreme climates. Looking ahead to 2026, the FIA plans to make these cooling vests mandatory for all drivers. However, many drivers have expressed concerns about the system. For example, Max Verstappen has strongly opposed the idea of making cooling vests mandatory for F1 drivers in 2026. As a top driver and 3-time world champion, he believes that using these vests should be a personal choice. Verstappen explained that he has not tried the vest and does not plan to, as he finds the design uncomfortable with the tubes and belts around the body. He thinks safety improvements should focus on other areas, like making pit lanes safer, instead of forcing drivers to wear the vests. Verstappen feels that some drivers might like the vest while others don't, and that's okay. He insists it should remain an option, not a rule. Next up, we have the safety enhancements planned for the 2026 car regulations. These updates demonstrate the sport's commitment to protecting drivers in the high-speed, high-risk environment of Formula One. One major improvement centers on the front impact structure, or FIS. Previously, during a crash, the structure had a tendency to detach from the survival cell after the initial collision, leaving vital parts of the car exposed and vulnerable to further damage. To address this, a new 2-stage FIS design has been introduced. This design ensures that the structure remains intact and provides better protection during secondary impacts. It's a vital upgrade, aiming to absorb the energy from collisions more effectively and shield the driver. Another critical area of focus is side intrusion protection. Reinforcements around the cockpit and fuel cell are being upgraded to provide enhanced shielding during side collisions. These changes are really important because the cockpit houses the most vulnerable part of the car, the driver. The roll hoop is another safety feature receiving a significant boost. The roll hoop, which helps protect the driver in flip-over crashes, will now need to withstand even greater forces. The load capacity will be increased from 16G to 20G, and the strength testing requirements are being raised from 141 to 167 kilonewtons. This aligns Formula One safety standards with those of other single-seater series and makes these cars more capable of protecting the driver in extreme crash scenarios. Finally, to enhance safety for not just drivers but also track marshals and emergency responders, a new rule will mandate lateral safety lights. These lights will indicate the status of the car's energy recovery system, or ERS, when it stops on the track. Since ERS systems can carry electrical risks, especially during emergencies, these lights act as clear visual signals to warn of any potential danger. This feature will help everyone involved respond more swiftly and safely in critical situations. The 2026 regulations might seem great, but there may arise some challenges that could affect the dynamics of racing in both positive and negative ways. These changes bring innovation but also introduce potential difficulties for drivers, teams, and the overall racing experience. Let us explain. One of the most noticeable concerns is the reduced cornering performance due to lower downforce levels. Without sufficient downforce, cars will be slower through the corners, making them less agile and reducing the thrill for spectators who enjoy watching high-speed precision driving. Drivers believe this could diminish the excitement of racing, as cars will no longer handle corners with the same aggression and speed. Another key issue is the complexity of braking and energy management. With the introduction of a new hybrid system and the mandated 50-50 power split between combustion engines and electric motors, drivers will need to focus more on carefully managing their energy recovery systems during a race. This may lead to a more cautious style of racing, focused on efficiency rather than raw performance, which some worry will take away from the drama and intensity of competition. Early testing has revealed that these cars may also feel less intuitive to drive. Simulator sessions have been met with disappointment, as drivers report feeling a lack of grip and control during testing. The additional need to constantly manage power distribution adds another layer of complexity, which could make driving more challenging and less enjoyable overall. This learning curve might lead to more errors early in the season as teams and drivers adapt. Additionally, there are growing concerns about the increased size and weight of cars. Despite hopes that the new regulations would lead to lighter, more agile vehicles, it appears the opposite may happen. Heavier cars could decrease performance and hurt the flow of races, making overtakes and close battles harder to achieve. This change might also make people worry more about how exciting racing will be, since it's supposed to be all about fast speeds and amazing driving skills. The 2026 regulations also raise safety risks with the powerful new hybrid systems. There are concerns about electrical hazards, especially if a car stops on the track. Yes, a new safety system with lights has been introduced to signal the status of the energy recovery system. Though these indicators aim to reduce risks for drivers, marshals, and emergency responders, it remains to be seen how effective this system will be in the heat of competition. Additionally, the increased use of electrical components is causing thermal management issues within the chassis, leading to heat buildup that could impact driver safety and concentration during longer races. The combination of reduced grip and more complex energy management might also lead to a higher risk of accidents. Cars with less grip are already harder to control, and the additional focus on managing power systems while racing at high speed could lead to unpredictable car behavior, especially in the initial races as teams adjust. And finally, there are concerns about the competitive balance of the 2026 regulations. Whenever major rule changes are introduced, there's a chance one team will adapt better than the rest, leading to domination and an uneven playing field. Yes, some unpredictability in race results might excite fans, but there's also a risk that teams will play it too safe with their energy strategies, resulting in less aggressive and thrilling races. So, this was everything about the new 2026 regulations. It's an exciting time for Formula One and its fans, as these changes promise to make the sport more competitive, challenging, and thrilling. Now, we'll have to wait and see how these regulations will affect the teams, drivers, and the overall dynamics of Formula One. Smash that like button if you found the video informative. And don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so we know you're a true Formula One fan.